Welcome to the live stream. I am Keith. I think I'm live. Yeah, it looks like I'm live. Let's go ahead and hit record here. And there we go. So I'm using a different layout today because I have a great topic to discuss with you tonight. And it's actually already a poll. So if you haven't already responded to the poll, please do so. It's a great poll. Should be lots of fun tonight as we discuss this. And I'm not trying to take any sides here. If you don't know what the topic is, then I guess I don't have to worry about you thinking I might take sides here. But many of you know that I have been testing the RODECaster video for a number of weeks now. And with that said, I have learned some things, and I also have been streaming. I think it's, I was going to look tonight. We'll look here in a minute. I think it's 5 weeks I've been live streaming with the RODECaster video. I am live streaming from the RODECaster video tonight. And we're going to do a little comparison. In fact, the poll simply asked the pertinent question here tonight. Do you think there is a clear winner between the ATEM Mini Extreme ISO and the RODECaster video? And of course, in my still image, I put the RODECaster video first. And in the question tonight, I put the Extreme ISO first. I'm trying to be fair. So anyway, and we have 5 votes so far. So thank you so much for voting on tonight's poll. It's a yes and no question as usual. Again, do you think there is a clear winner between the ATEM Mini Extreme ISO and the RODECaster video? Now, we'll come back to this question. I'm sure some of you are going to wonder why I'm comparing it to the RODECaster video to the Extreme. And I have my reasons for that I'll share here shortly. But let's do this. Let's just make sure we're starting off here in the right foot. And let's get the chat enabled here. Let's see. Close the poll here. Let's see. Let's go in here a little while ago. Is this working? Transition. Open RODECaster. Let me check on this again. Okay, it looks like that's working. Let's put D on the air here. And so here is the question, or actually, Grish said, what a topic. And I agree with that, Grish. It is a great topic tonight. Again, we're talking about RODECaster video versus the ATEM Mini Extreme ISO. Is it a fair fight? Is the question in my still image. I think you guys probably saw that, but let's just pop it up on the screen here. So there is the still image, RODECaster video versus the ATEM Mini Extreme ISO. Is there a clear winner? And then we're also going to touch base a little bit about Black Friday. So thank you, Grish. Tony said he's going to be here in the second hour. Let's see, did that go up? Let's try that again. There we go, chat on the air. So Tony will be here for the second hour. We have K9 Striker here. Let's go, Team ATEM. Yeah, well, there is a extreme ATEM fan. Hank says, hi, Keith, and all the Tuesday regulars, wishing everyone who celebrates Thanksgiving a healthy and delicious holiday. From Hank in Bluffton, South Carolina. It's great to have you here, Hank, as usual. Grish is hello from Eastern Washington. So welcome, Grish. And I think that's it in the chat. I do have things recording now, and I'm streaming. There's recording. There is streaming. So we should be good. What cameras are you using tonight? Right now, I'm on my EOS R, and that's the only camera that I have really tonight. I'm not going to be switching any cameras because I do have some things plugged into my Extreme tonight. To try to talk about both these devices on the same night and compare them between each other and have it all wired correctly is always a challenge. So we'll see if I'm up to the challenge. But I mainly have just my EOS R tonight. And so let me know if there's anything wrong with that. And let me also know that the audio is great. It looks like it's doing good. Again, I'm using the SM7B right through the RØDECaster video. So it's going in directly to the RØDECaster video, even though I could go into my RØDECaster Pro version 2 and then plug that into one of the USB inputs on the RØDECaster video, but I'm not doing that. I'm just using this microphone. I could put on my wireless microphone. In fact, I have my wireless microphone here. I have not put it on. So we'll pop that out. And again, that's the Wireless Go. I have a Wireless Go kit with the charging station here. And we'll go ahead and get this out just in case I need to move around and not use the mic in front of me. This should be muted, but I will turn it on and pop it on here. So that is on now. Finish dressing here. We'll just button this top button. For now, that just makes the microphone hang better. I brought my cool drink tonight. I've been in the studio all day long. I've been thinking about this topic, and we will dive in here to my thoughts and maybe your thoughts, and that's really what I want to do tonight. We're actually going to go through tonight these two devices to the best of our ability and talk about some of the differences on what the RØDECaster video does really well, what the ATEM Extreme ISO does really well. They're not exactly the same type devices in any sense. They do a lot of similar things. I think there is a reason why I'm comparing the RØDECaster video to the ATEM Extreme ISO, and we'll talk about that here in a minute. Gary says, hi, everyone. Hi to you, Gary. Tim is here. Good morning from down under. So we have our Australian representation here tonight. Let's see. Yeah. Hi, Keith. Oh, there's something wrong with the Canon EOS 7R, is it? Yeah, well, it's missing Ratso. Okay. Yeah, Ratso is not here tonight, but maybe he will be making an appearance between now and Christmas here in the USA. So you guys stay tuned for that. I hope you'll be with me every week. I do have some new decorations over my shoulder. So I do have some fall cornucopia up there. I've got a little red truck. I stole these from my wife for tonight, and my 1/6 scale figures are spread around the house, and they won't be back until after the new year, because we're going to go into a Christmas look for next Tuesday, so stay tuned for that. Grish says, nothing wrong, audio is great. That's good to hear. Thank you for that, Grish. Grish says, can you explain this scene? I see a random line through the image on the right side. Is that intentional? Okay, a random line. Let's turn the chat off. And let me make one little change here real quick. Let's see. Let's go to settings. Just upon A. I'm going to change this to program. Oh, yeah, I do see a random line going down the side. Let's look at the scene here real quick. Let's see. Can I share this? Let's turn that off. Let's go into scenes over here. Let's see here. What's going on? Okay, we can turn that off. I don't know how that got on. My extra logo. Yeah, I do see the line. So let's just see what that might be. Yeah, for some reason, my logo has a white line around it. And there we go. That should get rid of that. Let's see. There we go. Now it's on the side. Yeah, evidently this logo has, let's go ahead and make it full screen here. There we go. Sorry about that. Yeah, that line that you're seeing is a box around my logo. It's supposed to be transparent lower thirds. I designed these for my ATEM. I'll explain to you guys why here in a bit. But yeah, that's what the random line is. So I apologize for that. And I'll just show you guys this scene here real quick. So we're talking about the same thing. Let me close this for right now. And let's change to scene C. I don't have the greatest scene layouts tonight. That didn't work. Hang on a second. Okay, we will fix. Yeah, that's fine. I need to be up in the corner, even though I'm down here in the scene. So let's go to scene A, and it's this logo layer. So if I click on the logo layer, you can see the outline. Well, when I designed these, I had to position them in the lower left. So I have a transparent outside box. Well, evidently, that transparent outside box shows up in this layout. So that's layer one. And so I could literally pull this layer completely out of the way, but it is creating this, it's creating a line. You can actually see it. So I will definitely be getting rid of this logo and designing a new one. But it's funny that no one has spotted that before. But yeah, it is creating a line around the video. And then the next layer, obviously, is my camera, and then the layer behind that is my background, and my background is right here on the left hand side. These are all of the, on the RØDECaster video, these are all my still images that I have loaded, and then you go up here, you can sort them. If I click on videos, it'll show me just videos, and I'll delete that. It always defaults to still images. If I click on sounds, I have just my music in here as well. So we'll close sounds, but it always defaults to stills. So if I want to see videos, I can do videos, and then I can do graphics and add sounds, and now they're all here. Here's a whole list of everything that I have loaded. And if you want to load a graphic, you just click on this Add Media button on the bottom, and you load it. So if you can see over here, I have 3 layers. Top layer is my logo. The second layer is my camera, and third layer is the background. So hopefully that helps you understand the answer to that question. Again, I'm still learning how to use my old graphics with my new device, the RODECaster video. I still have both of my ATEM Extremes here. So, yeah, so it's the border. It's the border. Yeah, it's kind of a keyframe border. What's going on here? Why do I not have this on the air? Yeah. No big deal. Laugh out loud. I don't mean to derail from the thought. Well, you did a pretty good job. There is an apply border set. Maybe that's it. Yeah, well, I did this logo. I made it in Adobe Audition. No, not Adobe Illustrator, not Adobe Audition. One of the Premiere apps from Adobe, and I'm part of their cloud package, and I use Adobe Illustrator to make my still images every week. That's where this still image comes from, right here. I design it in Adobe Premiere, actually Adobe Illustrator, and then I do my intro in Premiere Pro, and also my outro. And I also use OBS, and one of these nights we'll talk about that process. But I do want to get into tonight. So we've said hi to everybody. I do want to get into tonight's topic. And so let me bring that back over, and let me open Adobe here. Let me center this graphic, or can I center this graphic? That'll have to be good enough. Let's cut back to, I want a better layout for this. Let's go F. So I made this little graphic tonight because I want to talk about some of the things, and these are kind of my notes, but I can also type in this. So I was in the process of doing this as we were rolling the intro. Let me move the microphone over here, and I'll capitalize this. So let's just go through these real quickly together. The RØDECaster video, it has 6 total inputs, and I'll show you the inputs on the front of it here in a minute. I do have cameras over both devices, and we're going to cover those. So we'll just kind of go down these first few features to compare them. There's a lot more, and this may not just be a one night video to cover all of these features. In fact, my Extreme ISO getting started video is, I think, an hour long, two sections. So there's a lot of features in the ATEM Mini Extreme ISO, especially if you want to learn how to use it and live stream from it, record videos, and the ATEM Mini Pro videos on my channel as well, getting started, which is my best performing video here on my channel. And then I am in the process, and I've already started recording, getting started with the RØDECaster video. Don't know how long that's going to be. We'll have to finish all the pieces of that, and then I have to put it all together, hoping that will come out before Christmas. And so on the left of this graphic, I have the RØDECaster video, which is pictured below it. And on the right side of this graphic, I have the Extreme ISO. So let's just talk about inputs. The RØDECaster video, again, has 6 inputs, but they're divided in 2 types of inputs. You have 4 HDMI inputs, and they're traditional camera HDMI inputs. You can put a 4K camera input in there, but it will only broadcast at 1080p. It will convert it down. You can do up to 60 frames per second with the RØDECaster video. Same with the ATEM Extreme ISO. And if you look at the second inputs, they're really not just web cameras. Those USB-C inputs, and there's 2 of them, number 4 and 5. There's 5 USB-C inputs on the back of the RØDECaster video. So when you start looking at the back of the RØDECaster video, it is a little bit more, in my opinion, complicated to understand it compared to the Extreme ISO. So in that regards, as far as the basic inputs and outputs, I would probably give 1 point to that, to the Extreme ISO. And if you guys want to go ahead and keep points tonight, in fact, I'll write it down here. So we'll do Extreme on that side and Rode video here on this side. So 1 for inputs. But On the other hand, it has 8 HDMI inputs, and you just look at the back of it, and there's 8. If you buy the SDI model, and that's right, the Blackmagic Design devices, both the ATEM Mini has an SDI model and the Extreme. Left my door open. Got family out there. So there are simple HDMI inputs on the Extreme, but there are also SDI options. So, and things change a little bit with the outputs on the SDI model, but we're not going to talk about that one tonight. So 8 HDMI on inputs on the Blackmagic Design ATEM Extreme or ATEM Extreme ISO. And then you have 4 HDMI and 2 USB-C on the back of the RODECaster video. Now, the thing that's unusual is, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to do a column here below this. You have NDI and webcam. And we're going to make this smaller. And I'm going to make this a different color. And yes, this is now a lesson in using Adobe Illustrator. So NDI and webcam. So there's 4 NDI inputs. So that means that you could have other devices on your network sending the NDI signal, and you could bring that into the RODECaster video. And you could assign it to channel 5 and you could assign it to channel 6, but you can also assign any NDI source up to 4 to the 4 regular inputs. Now, I tried this today. I used the app from Rode today, and I brought the signal into HDMI channel number 1, and I couldn't switch to it. So I could see it in my multi-view, but I couldn't actually switch to it. And I don't know if that's a bug they need to fix. I've never tried it before. If I was to add a NDI source to channel 5 or 6, then I've been able to switch to it before. But today is the very first time that I played around with adding an NDI source to channel 1, 2, 3, or 4, because they can be switched. They don't have to just be an HDMI input in the back. It can be an NDI input. And it saw it fine, but it didn't light up. Like it was like there was nothing coming in to channel 1. So what happens on the front of this device when there's no input is it doesn't light up. It's like grayed out. So it's kind of interesting. It's like software when something isn't accessible, it's still there, but you can't click on it or anything because it's grayed out. That's exactly what happens to the front of the RODECaster video. On the device, those channels are grayed out when there isn't a source coming in the back. And that's true with the USB-C inputs as well. So if you plug a webcam in, and you can see on camera 6, I have a webcam, so I can switch to camera 6 right now. And this is the YOLO Live YOLO Cam S3 camera. It's a webcam, so I have one webcam right now plugged in to the RODECaster video, and now I can switch back to the scene. And I colored it as best as I could. This is a real warm white balance for my studio. Warms up my skin tones, and it gets a little warmer with the Elgato prompter on the front of it. So for whatever reason, when you do put a prompter in front of your camera, occasionally it can change the colors of your lens just a little bit, because you are putting a layer of glass in front of your camera. So I do get a little bit more dark skin tones with the RODECaster video on top of my camera, and I have it up here tonight so I can read the chat and look into the camera at the same time. So that's inputs. And I just want to say this. So this is why I chose to compare the RODECaster video with the ATEM Mini Extreme, because it's not just a competitive device to the ATEM Mini Pro because it has 2 more inputs, plus it has 4 NDI inputs. And again, I could have 4 NDI inputs in my studio and 2 camera inputs. I could have 4 NDI inputs and 2 USB-C web camera inputs, but I can never have more than, excuse me, put the 5th finger up there. I can never have more than 6 inputs on the RØDECaster Video, where I do have 8 HDMI inputs on the ATEM Mini Extreme ISO. Now I can bring I can bring a camera through my computer, so I could have a webcam on my ATEM Mini Extreme ISO. I could have a webcam plugged into my laptop, and then I could bring the HDMI of my laptop into my ATEM, and then I can display a webcam on the screen. That's exactly how I bring my Sky cameras on the screen. So for instance, right now, I have chat enabled, so let me unenable that. Now let's unenable that, turn it off. And then let me go to a webcam here. And then I'll switch to this. This is going to be 4. So now I have a webcam coming in through my laptop, and I can do this with my Extreme, and I can do this with the RØDECaster Video. It's just simply coming in to channel 2 in the RØDECaster Video. So these are the 2 HDMI outputs. So this one right there is my computer coming in, and I'm just displaying this camera. In fact, I have 2 cameras hooked up. So now there's another camera that's coming down on my Extreme ISO. So both of those can be brought into both devices simply by using an HDMI input. Should probably cut back to scene A. An HDMI input, and then I can bring those on the air. So I even bring chat on the air through my laptop, or through my PC actually, and that's how I bring it on the air. So if I hit D again, it puts the overlay up, and then if I click on that, then I've got the scene builder. There was a toggle to apply a border. What happens if you turn off the off for the logo? So I'm displaying this question that Grish is asking, and we'll talk about this a little bit later, Grish, by putting my laptop in a key on the air, and then you guys can see that. And that's a new feature available in the RØDECaster Video that came out in a recent firmware update, because you couldn't do it this way. You'd have to use a green screen and chroma key it. But now you have a Luma key, which just simply lets you change the color, so you're only displaying the graphic on the screen at the bottom. And that's, again, how you get these on the air. I'm using a key through the RØDECaster Video, and I'm bringing it on the air from my laptop using really OBS. So we'll talk about that later. So again, 4 NDI inputs available to be placed anywhere, though I'm having issues placing them on input 1, 2, 3, and 4, and them being live to switch to. I did notice that it came up in my layouts, my SuperSource layouts for the RØDECaster Video, which are called scenes, but it did not light up, so I could just be switching between a scene and that particular input. So I'm not sure what that is. So back to our graphic. So again, that's kind of a bonus, being able to bring a webcam in. Now, you can't bring a webcam in on the same channel and NDI at the same time. So you're only going to get 4 HDMI inputs. You're going to get the ability for 4 NDI inputs, and you're going to be able to have the ability for 2 webcam inputs. Or you can even use one of those USB-Cs to bring in your RØDECaster Pro 2 or your RØDECaster Pro Duo. And again, you could also bring in another RØDECaster Video, the audio at least. And it's really interesting how there's already people combining 2 RØDECaster videos. Now, anybody knows me and been on my channel for a while, you know I combine 2 extremes. Pretty simple. The Extremes have 2 HDMI outs on the HDI model. And so I take those HDMI outs, come into 2 of the inputs on my main Extreme. And that means I can use all 8 inputs on that Extreme. And then I still have 6 more inputs left on my main Extreme that are available. So you do the math. I have 8 plus 6. That gives me 14 different inputs that I can switch to. Now, I can't have all of them on the air at the same time, but I can have 2 of the inputs from my Extreme number 2 on the air at any one time, as well as the other 6 that are plugged into it. So my Extremes have been something I've been using for years now. I think I switched to them 2.5 years ago. I think I combined 2 years ago 2 Extremes. So that's just inputs. And I don't want to dive too much into this, but if you have any questions about the inputs on the RØDECaster video, let me know. So I'm going to make another column below here as well. And then we're going to say USB-C audio. Because you can actually use those 2 USB-C ports. And let's just go change the color here of those. You can use those 2 USB-C ports for audio inputs. You'd have to choose to use them for that and not for the other thing. And normally people are only going to be using USB 5 to bring in another RØDECaster video or another RØDECaster Pro. And why would you want to bring in another RØDECaster Pro? Well, you can actually then use all of the audio channels on the RØDECaster Pro. So you could inevitably have 4 microphones plugged into a RØDECaster video, because you could have 2 wireless mics and 2 wired mics. That's 4. And then you could have all of the inputs coming from your RØDECaster Pro coming in as well. So you would have your pads for playing music or clips or whatever it would be, or using the effects. And then you would have the inputs. There's 4 audio inputs on the back of a RØDECaster Pro 2, and there's 2 audio inputs on the back of a RØDECaster Pro Duo. So it is quite interesting, some of the crazy options you have on the RØDECaster video, and that's why I feel like it can compete with the Extreme. Now, the other thing that the Extreme does, and let's go over in the Extreme column here. We're going to add audio here on the bottom. Now, the RØDECaster video has 2 combo jacks on the back and has built-in effects for audio. So does the ATEM Mini. It doesn't have any effects like reverb or anything like that, but it does have an EQ and a gate and compression, and it can remove audio noise. So it's got that gate ability. But it's 3.5 jacks, 2 of them, compared to the RØDECaster video with 2 combo jacks. Now, both of them could do line level or mic level, and actually the ATEM Extreme ISO has like 2 different levels for microphones available in the software, because there are a few wireless microphones out there, or wired microphones, that need a tiny little bit of power, not 48-volt phantom power, but they need less than that. And so that option, I think, is available now in the ATEM by Blackmagic Design as well. So isn't it interesting that the RØDECaster video not only has these 2 unique USB-C ports that will let you do either audio or webcams, and it has to be uncompressed web video. So that means it's not going to work with every web camera out there. It literally needs to be the video coming right off of the chip And there's quite a few webcams out there that do that. There are things like the Elgato Facecam Pro, the new Facecam 4K. They all have for uncompressed video. The YOLOCAM S3. I think the Razer has uncompressed video. I think there's a couple of Logitech cameras that have uncompressed video. So if you use like a Ozbot, they have uncompressed video, plus they will let you use the PTZ feature, which is also built in to the RODECaster video. So, and that's not even on my list. So if you compare the XLR and the quality of the preamps in the RODECaster video compared to the quality of those 3.5 jacks, there is no comparison. The audio in the RODECaster video is so much better than going into an ATEM through the 3.5 jacks. Plus, they're very persnickety. Most of the adapters that you go from an XLR down to a 3.5 jack or quarter inch down to a 3.5 jack, you're going to get noise. And so there's very few jacks out there. I use HOSA converters here from going from quarter inch right and left to stereo 3.5, and they seem to be really well received by the ATEM. But that's a huge disadvantage, I believe, of the ATEM Extreme over the RODECaster video. Now, it's gonna sound like I'm making a case for the ATEM or the RODECaster video over the ATEM. And though so far with NDI, PTZ control, two USB inputs that can be used for multiple reasons, being able to change up what goes to what button once I figure out what that bug is when you're using NDI to camera 1 input or camera. I haven't tried it in 2, 3, or 4, but I did try it in camera 1 input today, and it was grayed out. And if you guys would like to see that, I'll show it later. So those things are compelling reasons, but again, 4 HDMIs compared to 8 HDMIs. So there's plenty of venues out there that would need more than 4 HDMI inputs. So that is a great handicap to the RODECaster video for a lot of people. For instance, let's say you're wanting to do a podcast and you want to have 2 guests, each have a camera, a wide camera. Now you've used up 3 of your HDMI inputs, and then you want to bring in your computer. You've used your last HDMI input. So how would you, in a RODECaster video, how would you bring anything else in? I guess you could bring in a PTZ NDI camera and use that and the other NDI camera on channel 5 and 6, and that could be a solution. But with the RODECaster, that's it. You have 4 HDMI inputs, but you get to the ATEM Extreme, then you have all 8 of those inputs, and it gives you a lot of options. Like I like to have my PC, 3 cameras, and my laptop all plugged in, and then I have my HyperDeck, which I play videos. Oh, and that brings me to this. Let's shrink these down now. Let's do video playback. So not only can you not play videos back through the ATEM Mini Pro ISO, the ATEM Extreme ISO, they don't play video back. You have to use a HyperDeck, or you have to play videos back through your laptop or maybe an iPad or something. So there are ways that you can play videos back, but you actually can play videos back in the RODECaster video directly inside of it. So keep that in mind as you're comparing these two devices. So let's talk about SuperSource here just a little bit. So What is SuperSource? Well, SuperSource is like what I have on the screen right now. I have a layout with, see, do I have any layouts with 4 boxes? I don't. I have a layout with 2 boxes on the screen, and the Extreme can do 2 boxes as well. It can do 4 boxes with a background. And if you have a video play device like a a HyperDeck, or even a computer coming in to your ATEM, then you could put that video, a video background in the background, where in the RØDECaster video, because it plays video back internally, you can put video behind me instead of this graphic I have right now. I can actually put the real deal graphic in the background. We'll do that right now live. Hopefully it won't blow up. But let's do that live. So let's see. Background layer is that. So let's see if we can close everything but video. And let's see if we can drop this in the background layer. What did I drop in the back here? The wrong thing. My subscribe logo. Let's try the real thing here again. And now I have a video behind me live and in color. So I can put a video behind in these SuperSource layouts and play them live. So again, let's drop in the regular graphic back there now. So now I cut to it, and now it's just a static background in the back with the crazy line that comes from the logo. So let's go back to F, and I could put that on the back of F2. I was clicking on A and edited scene A. So I can do that, and I can add 4 layers on top of the background, or I could add 3 layers on top of the background, and I could add audio in a layer, multi layouts for the RØDECaster video, where I can't do that with audio in the ATEM Extreme. So let's just do this to be fair here for a second. Let me bring this software on the air. So this is the software you're going to be messing around with when you're using the RØDECaster video. And just to walk you through it real quick, there's more than this. If I just close this, close that, this is the entirety. So I have the audio layer opened up, and I can close that. This is the main menu system. There's the RØDECaster video. If I had my RØDECaster Pro hooked up to my laptop right now, which I don't, it would appear right here. I unplug it. I'm not using it. It just is one less thing plugged in my laptop when I'm live. So it gives my computer more room to breathe CPU power, because it's constantly communicating with the RØDECaster Pro when it's plugged in. So I can open up the audio panel by clicking that, and you can have up to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 different audio sources. I can mix these individually and mix different outputs for headphones, different mixes for all of these channels that are going out to someone, like headphones. There's 2 headphone outputs on the back of this. There's room speakers. That could be a separate mix. I could have a separate mix going to the live stream. But this is the live mix right now. And here's all the different mixes that are available for me to mess around with. So I can send individual mixes to every single one of these channels built in to the RODECaster video. So if I want to mess with audio and change mixes, this is where I'm going to do it. We'll close that. If I'm going to make adjustments in my live show to scenes, this is where I do it. So here's scenes A, B, C, D, E, F, G. And then if I want to see something besides scenes, let's say I want to see videos, then I'm going to click on this video icon. And now this is my intro video, my outro video. These have nothing loaded. So I'd have to drag a video over here from videos onto these. And I already did right here. I have my subscribe logo and that animated background right there. And then here is my intro video and my outro video. I could also program what they do once they play. I can go through play once. I can go through here and say loop them, which if you have a hyperdeck, you can do that as well. But one of the things you can do in the RODECaster video I can't do on an ATEM Extreme is I can tell it to switch. Once this video is played through once, I can have it switch to a different device that's been added in the firmware. So I just click on switch to, and I can tell it what device input, what scene, or what media do I want it to play. So I could switch from one video and it would start to play another video. So I could do back-to-back videos, or I could do a video and then go to a camera. So that's really cool. Plus, I can tell it what microphones or what jacks audio to play when that device is playing. And so right now, when the device is playing, it's the only microphone that you're going to hear is the video audio that's embedded in the video. You're not going to hear any other microphones in my studio, which is great. When I'm playing my intro or I'm playing my outro, that is super, super cool. Okay, so that is the Rode software. And then let's just show you this real quick. Let's go back here. So these are the slides. So that's my logo. This is the graphic for tonight stream. This is a graphic that I did comparing the RODECaster S to the RODECaster video, the original version. This is another slide. This is the graphic that I did about the buttons. This is the graphic for the front and back of those two devices. And then that's the graphic that's just in the background in my studio. And to get back to me, I need to, I guess I'm still up there. Okay, so then if I want to create a scene, close the logos, and these buttons now are scenes. So this is scene A, which I was using when we opened up the show. This is scene B. So the way you create a scene is you just add what you want over here. So let's go ahead and destroy this scene, and let's delete everything in it. We'll leave the background. So I want the background. So this is the background layer. And so I can add, and this is the apply borders. And the apply borders is for putting an outline around the boxes. So I'll show you that in a minute. So let's say I want to add another layer. You can see the size of the layer. So I'm going to click on it. So I don't want it full size. So I'm going to make this smaller, and we'll drag it into here, and it lights up these bars so you can have borders and center everything. So let's say I want to make a 4-box layout. Let's go ahead and add 4 boxes. Two more. Okay, and then we're going to put something in that one. We're just going to go ahead and put camera. Let's see. We're going to put my computer in that one. And this one we'll put my PC, which I believe is in, what am I going to do here? 4? No, we'll do 2 and 3. We'll do 3. And then this, we'll do a media. Just do my animated background. Let's see. I got a camera here somewhere. Camera 3. So those are the same because one is my computer. Well, I guess I have 3 in here twice. So we'll change this to, what do I have coming in? 5. Tonight's program. So we'll do 5. And then one more layer here. Let's do I have any more inputs here? Let's do, okay, so now I have a 4-box layout. And top left is my outro video. This is my laptop. This is the program out tonight. And then this is my main camera. So now you have a 4-box layout. And that's as many boxes. If I click on this now, I can't add any more boxes. So you can only have 5 layers. And then if I apply borders, then I can change the border color. Let's make it like yellow. And we can change the size. So I could add border colors to that. And then if I want to round a border, if I click on that particular box, I can round the edges. And it's going to look best if I click on camera 3. Then I can go up here. This is the cropping, so I can actually crop as well. And I can round it. So I can do these kind of layouts in the RØDECaster video, but it's not anything like this using a different set of software. So let's go ahead and pull this out of the way. And let's open up the software for the ATEM Extreme ISO. So here's your 8 inputs, and you can switch to those just by clicking on any of these boxes up here. You can see I have them renamed, so you can rename those. That's a bonus for Blackmagic Design. The keys work completely different in reality with the Blackmagic devices. So there's a lot more things that you can do with the keys. So for instance, I have the ability to do Luma, Chroma, pattern, and DVE. The pattern transitions work differently on the RØDECaster video, though you do have different transitions. But they have Luma and Chroma now, but they don't have a DVE. And again, you'd have to use the scene layouts if you want a picture-in-picture. But with the RØDECaster, it doesn't have the DVE built in like this, and there's 2 DVEs built into the ATEM Extreme. So we go back to our graphic over here. We will say keys. I believe there's 2, and there's Chroma. Luma. And then over here, you have 4 upstream. They offer Luma, Chroma, probably not spelling this right. DVE, and then also, like I said, you have the ability to do pattern. And so you can use that key to bring all these patterns on. So that's how you would put me inside a circle. You'd have to use a key to do that. Where in the RØDECaster video, you just drag the mouse over and you can do a circle and crop really easily. To crop inside the ATEM, you're going to have to use a key, so like a Luma key, and then you go into these keys down here. You can do flying keys, and you can mask and crop up here inside the keys. So though I can put things in a circle in the RODECaster video, I can do all of these crazy shapes inside the RODECaster or the ATEM Extreme ISO. So that's a bonus. So you have 4 upstream keys, and 2 of them can be used at one time as a DVE, which is, again, it's a picture-in-picture. So I can put a box with a picture on top of the screen. So I just light up DVE, and then I would turn on, this is chroma key 1. I would turn it on the air, and now the input that's selected right here, it says Apple TV, and I don't have this on the air tonight, but I could use my camera. I could use all of these inputs. And then if I wanted to put it in a box, I'd have to switch to pattern. And then I have to align it and put it in the box and do all of this changing down here to change the size and make sure everything fit. So I think there's a limit of 2 inputs in shapes because there's only 2 DVEs to do it with. So that means that you could do 2 circles on the screen at the same time with the ATEM Extreme ISO, but I could do 4 things in circles inside the RODECaster video because of the way the scenes work out. I can shape all of those. And then again, to put that back on the screen here real quick, I can also put color around them. So I can change the size and the thickness of the boxes, but they're not independently. They're all orange or, and I just picked these colors because of the season we're in. That's red. Here's brown. I guess we could go with yellow too. Could go with light yellow. All fall colors, and you can see those layouts next to me. And so there are some limits to what you can do in the ATEM. There's also some limits to what you can do in the RODECaster video, but you can't put boxes around the, well, maybe you can. Let's look at this real quick. Let's move this over. I'm trying to remember if that was changed in a firmware update. Let's go to Super Source. Yeah, you can crop and you can change the sizes and the shapes, and you have some presets here. So you could have 4 boxes on the screen, 3. You can crop to portrait if you want to. You can even crop different directions. If you're using like an iPad or you want to bring your iPhone on the air, then you could make a box specifically for the way the iPhone is portrait or landscape. But you're limited. You can't put circles around it directly in Super Source, but you can change the background. So here's the art layer. I could make it, instead of a media player, I could make it my hyperdeck. So here's my hyperdeck. So I could put a animated video behind me, even in an extreme ISO ATEM Blackmagic layout. So again, that's something that I can reproduce, but I have to have a hyperdeck to do that. And it would take up one of those HDMI inputs where the playback for video is built in to the RODECaster video. So let's go back up here to my diagram. So one of the things that really jumps out to me on video or hyperdeck I'm going to highlight this hyperdeck, and we're going to make it a neon color. Oh, let's go neon green. Because with the hyperdeck, you have to at least use 1 input. So the other advantage of a hyperdeck with a extreme is that you can play animated graphics with a alpha channel and a key channel. So they look way better. You can't do that really very effectively in the RØDECaster video because it doesn't have that key fill layer available, and maybe that's something they'll add in the update. But the advantage of video playback in the RØDECaster video is obviously you don't lose an input. It's built in the device. So I do lose an input in the Extreme. So to compare them apples to apples, if you want to play video back, intros and outros, you're going to only have 7 HDMI inputs available on the Extreme ISO because one of them has to be used up for video playback. And if you want to play animated graphics with a key channel, then it takes 2 of those inputs. So now you are very similar to a RØDECaster video, and I really believe that's part of what Rode was thinking when they designed it with only 4 HDMI inputs and 2 other inputs through webcams or NDI sources, because they knew that you could play video back inside it. And if they can come up with some way to play animated video graphics on the screen and have them look good, that would be amazing if they could do all that inside the device. Okay, so that's kind of an overview look at some of the inputs and how the software works without diving in too extreme. Let's stop for a minute and just catch up in the chat because I don't want to, I may already did put you guys asleep, but let's get back in the chat here. And border is gone in the scene. It's probably the apply border toggle in the scene for the source. So yeah, it could be. Joe, thank you for stopping by. Hopefully you'll stay in the stream tonight. But so where are we at then right now? So I'm leaning so far on inputs and the things that the RØDECaster video will do compared to the Extreme ISO. Right now, just talking about it out loud and sharing the different features, I'm really leaning towards the RØDECaster video because I'm not losing any HDMI inputs to play video back. So that means I can play my intro and my outro. I don't have to record my intro and my outro in ProRes files and put them on a little card and then stick them in my HyperDeck, even though now you can load things on your HyperDeck through your network. You just have to open up those ports. So all I have to do is just click in the software again right here. And if I want to bring a video in, I can add a video right now. So this is my intro and outro video. But if I wanted to add any of the videos that I have in my library here, let's see. Yeah, I don't really have anything ready. I could just simply bring those videos in. I format everything at 30 frames per second so it matches what I'm streaming at, 1080p obviously. So I don't think it's going to let you bring in a 4K video. It has to be formatted 1080p HD. But I don't think it matters what frame rate, but I haven't tested that yet. So I love the fact that the videos live inside the device on the little SD card. And if you buy the new RØDECaster Video S, it has 20 gigabytes built into it. There is no SD slot. But again, if you buy the RØDECaster Video S, you get less inputs. So you're losing HDMI inputs, you're losing USB-C inputs. So, okay. So let's get in the chat, see what else you guys are saying here. Joe says he's still here. It's good to have you, Joe, as always. A super fan of Ratso. Joe says, I'm very interested in the RØDECaster video since they added NDI. Cool to be able to bring in network sources. Yeah, that's a biggie. Again, 4 HDMI or NDI inputs, and we haven't talked about outputs yet, which we'll do here in a minute. Blackmagic Design needs to come out strong in 2026 to compete with the market they created. For sure, I believe that with all my heart. BlackBerry and Blackmagic both created a market. Yeah. So let's see. Jura says, Gary, sounds like maybe one of each to get all the perks. more to learn, 2 interfaces, maybe turkey for those gobble gobbles. Obviously, late arrivals, good to have you, Doug, in tonight's live stream. Thank you so much for joining me. Let's see if I missed anything else back here. I don't think so. So again, with the audio inputs, being able to do XLR or 1/4 inch, because they're combo jacks, you could bring in a whole mixing console, or you could bring in the outputs of your RØDECaster Pro 2 directly in. You don't need to do that because you can bring in a RØDECaster Pro 2 using audio, which is great, because if you did bring a RØDECaster Pro in to those jacks, you would be losing the opportunity to use these 2 XLR inputs that are built into it. So again, for a 4-person podcast, you could have 2 microphones plugged into the RØDECaster video, and then you could have a duo on the table for 2 more SM7Bs or whatever other microphone you want to use. The Pod Mic by Rode is a great sounding microphone, and you'd be all set. So you could get 4 microphones, or you could just use the RØDECaster video. I have 2 people on wireless microphones because it has a built-in receiver. Again, the ATEM Extreme ISO does not have that, so we better add that to our graph. So let's go up here. We're also going to go 2 keys. 2 downstream keys. And downstream keys are great because they cover everything. So that would be the best thing to use for like a logo. They don't have Luma or Chroma or DVE built into them, but they do display Luma graphics, and that's perfect for logos or bugs. And you can also play a HyperDeck through them. So if you just want to bring a HyperDeck on the air, you could do that just using a DVE. So it would automatically play, or you could bring a HyperDeck on the air using HDMI input that it's plugged into. So we need to make this a little bit smaller. And then over here, we're going to add built-in wireless dual receiver. Okay, so we've covered inputs, but we haven't talked about outputs yet. So with the RØDECaster video, you have 2 HDMI outputs. In fact, let's just bring this up here real quick because it's easier to see. So here is your HDMI outputs. You got HDMI 1, HDMI 2. They can be any of these. So multi-view could be any one of the camera inputs. You also have USB 1 out. That could be anything that goes into your computer, but that also could go into another RØDECaster video. And I met someone recently through, I think it was through the chat, that's actually got 2 RØDECaster videos plugged in each other. So he's going out of one USB into the other one as an input in channel 4 or 5. And so he can bring in all the channels from his other RØDECaster video into his first RØDECaster video, but he only can use one of each of those coming in through the USB-C out in to the other device. But you have the built-in matrix to be able to switch that with a Stream Deck. So you could switch whatever, you could have a Stream Deck to switch what was going out of USB-C into the other RØDECaster video. And you could do the same thing with what's coming out of your RØDECaster video into your laptop for like Zoom. So you could use your Stream Deck and say, I want everybody to see camera 1. Push that button in your Stream Deck. You want everybody to see multi-view. They can see multi-view in the Zoom call. They can see your video playback or whatever, and that's pretty cool. But you also have, in the RØDECaster video, you have NDI out. So let's just do this now. We're going to go outputs. We have 2 HDMI, 1 USB-C, and NDI. And over here, outputs, 2 HDMI, 1 USB-C. Now, if you weren't streaming, you could stream to like another device by ATEM or by Blackmagic Design, using a streaming bridge or a console that has that built into it. But then again, you can't stream at the same time. You got to stream to that device. The fact that there is a NDI source going out, and look at this NDI source can actually, I can send what I want to the NDI source. So that means I could have a monitor in the other part of my building. Let's say that I have people waiting to come into the next podcast in my podcasting studio. I could have a monitor hooked up to my network and be able to play that NDI source in that other room potentially if I had an NDI receiver in the other room. So the fact that there's this NDI output going out, it's really cool. You can also bring that NDI output back in to your RØDECaster video. Did you know that? What does that mean? You want to show everybody multi-view? Then you could set multi-view in the NDI out. So here's multi-view. And then you could go into the RØDECaster video. So let's hit the inspect button. Hopefully this won't stop the live stream. Let's go into channel 1. And I cannot do it while I'm live. So if I wasn't live, I could change input number 1 right now on my RØDECaster video, and it could be the NDI source. And the NDI source is displaying multi-view, so then I could bring multi-view back on the live stream. Now, the way I'm doing that right now is I am coming out of my my device, one of the HDMI outputs, and I'm coming back in through a cam link. And I think I can show you guys this real quick. So let me make sure chat is off the air. So I'm using the cam link. Can I change this camera angle here? Let's see. So I'm coming out and coming back in blue. So blue is coming out and blue is coming back in. Can you see this? Cam link. So that's the blue coming into a cam link to a USB-C adapter. So it's going from USB-A to USB-C, and I'm coming into channel number 5. But I could have gone in NDI source, and I didn't discover that until today. So the fact that I can bring NDI in is pretty incredible. So let's go back to scene A. So that is really cool, guys, is that there's a lot of things you can do with this RØDECaster video that you cannot do with the other device, the ATEM Extreme ISO. Again, it does have eight inputs. It does have 2 HDMI outputs that you can send any source to it. It does have USB-C out. Let me show you those real quick. So we're comparing apples to apples. So here's the outputs right up here. So output 1, I can make any one of these. Output 2, any one of these. And I also have the ability to go direct, and that's for gamers to cut down latency. So I can say I want that HDMI out 1 to go direct to a channel 1 on my ATEM, and that is a high-speed port, and it bypasses anything that's going to slow it down, so that would be your Xbox. There wouldn't be any latency. So I guess that could be important. That's not in the ATEM Mini or the RODECaster video that I know of. And then here's HDMI 2 out. And then here's the webcam out. So, but there is no NDI. So there's another bonus point for the RODECaster video, because it has 4 outputs, 2 HDMI, 1 USB-C, and a NDI out, which gives you 4, and that could be pretty powerful when you think about it. So not only do you not lose an HDMI input to play video, you have an extra output through NDI that you could potentially use somewhere else in the room. So though there is a little bit of extra points because you have all these extra choices, this direct out for like a gamer. I've never tested the RODECaster Pro, or excuse me, the RODECaster video to see if it has any issues with latency for like gamers. It will do 60p, so that should be fast enough. I mean, again, most gamers want 120 hertz when they're playing, or 240 hertz because they're moving their mouse around the screen on their monitor. But for actually playing it online, I would think that 1080p 60 would be enough. Okay, so let's close that and let's shut this off. Go back to chat on the air. And let's hit D here. So Joe, on our RODECaster, we have a couple recordings corrupt. Also ISO feeds. It was weird. Okay, so that's interesting. And it happened after a hiccup in the projector that was coming out from the HDMI. So Grish to Joe. Let's see. The projector acted like it got reconnected to. Then at the same point in the recording sped up and garbled up. Now, Grish, is this a RODECaster video? I think it is. Yeah, Joe, on our RODECaster. And Grish says he still has the recording of that. Well, I'd definitely get that over to Rode and let them know. And Joe's saying, thanks for letting me know. RODECaster video into 2ME might be an interesting solution. Get all the SDI and MEs I need for a corporate event, but build cool layouts and take in remotes. Yeah. So Joe's doing a little bit more high-tech things than I am in my studio. But again, the RODECaster video is an interesting device. Just back to where we were here in the graph. So you do have 2 HDMI outs, 1 USB-C. What's the S's? And NDI. You have the built-in wireless receivers and video playback. So again, inside the device, I thought I'd change the colors of that. So you're not losing an input. So let's talk about software ease of use. Now we better do one more thing, graphics. Oh, we did that because we did chroma key. So you can do green screen with both devices. You can do Luma keys with both devices. So that means I could bring in And I'll show you guys how I'm doing this right now. So if we go up here to, let's see, we're going to go to D. D, I'm using camera 4 as my input, and I have the key enabled over here on, let's see, on D. No, these are scenes, sorry. On D, I have these are the graphic overlays, right? So if I want to put my logo on the air, there it is. If I want to put on tonight's still image, there it is over top of everything. But D is actually turning the chat on the air because I have D assigned to camera 4 and I have the key on the air. So when I bring on chat, click on a chat and I click on D, then the chat comes on the air. So I'm using that like a key. So I can use, I think, up to 2 of these like that. And I'm using camera 4 through OBS. And again, I can show you guys how that's set up. Let me bring on input 4. So there is OBS on the air because I'm full screening displaying it from OBS. I think I can try to scroll over there. Yeah, and then I can right click in here and close this. No, can't see it here. Close. There. So now it's just my PC and I'm not projecting to it anymore. So I'm using OBS even though you guys can't see it because I'm not duplicating any of my screens on my PC. I can now project again. And now I'm projecting to the PC and then I bring that on the air by using that. Don't need that logo on. Why is it on? I can bring chat on the air by just pressing the D button, and that's bringing input number 4 on the air through a key. And then in OBS, I could move it around and reposition it. And I could actually change the size of the chat as well. And again, you can do that in the ATEM Extreme using a key, and you can do that in the RØDECaster video using a key. But this is a change in a new firmware update. So now you do have Luma settings so that you can do that. And where is that? Let's see. I'm using this right now, so I can't demo Luma. Let's go in here. Can I steal one of these? Yeah, let's delete this. And then now let's select an input. Let's say the input's going to be camera 4. And then can adjust the location. But I can't seem right now to change the key settings. And again, I think it's because I am live. I don't know, or I'm doing something wrong, having a brain fart here. So, Yeah, right now I'm not seeing the settings that are usually there for the overlay feature. It may be because I'm live. I don't know if you can change that when I'm live or not, but that would be, if I can't do that, then that would be a bad mark on the RØDECaster video. So basically what Grish is saying is that RØDECaster said that it was a cable issue why your video didn't play back. So yeah, you can also, this is a good thing, you can also tie the RØDECaster video to the RØDECaster Pro 2. So for like doing auto transitions between cameras, which is another bonus feature for the RØDECaster video. You can't do that inside the ATEM Extreme ISO. What I'm talking about is using audio to change video inputs. That's available in the RØDECaster right here. Let's go back. So if you click right here, auto switching, you can set up your auto switching, and you can also now have it see the RØDECaster Pro 2 or the RØDECaster Duo if they're plugged in from their port number 2, USB-C out number 2 of the back of those devices. So you come out of USB-C number 2 out of the RØDECaster Pro 2 or the RØDECaster Pro Duo, and then you would come into, I believe it is input number 4 or 5 inside the RØDECaster video, and then you're going to be able to actually assign those microphones to a camera. So let's say you had a microphone in channel 2 of your RØDECaster Pro 2, you would be able to assign camera 2 or camera 1 or camera 4 or 5, 6, or 7 in your RØDECaster video to that microphone. And then when someone talked in that microphone, it would switch to that camera, and all of that's available right in here. You can select priority. You can do these different modes: relax, neutral, or fast, high priority, medium, or low. You can turn the scenes on and off, and then you can add the different microphones right through here that you want to use. Now, I haven't used the auto switching feature yet at all. I've watched plenty of videos. I know how it works, but I have not played with this auto switching feature. But again, it's another big bonus to the RØDECaster video that you can do that. Now, how do you deal with audio if you want to change audio inside the ATEM Extreme ISO? You click down here on the bottom for audio, and this is where all your channels are. And then up here in mic 1 and 2, you can do audio frame delay in both of these inputs. You can do frame delay also in the RØDECaster video. I think it's under device configurations. I don't want to give up my key. It's in here somewhere, but you can actually change. I have delay set right now for this microphone, so they both can do that. So here's where all the audio settings are. You have these effects available on all of the channels. So I have the equalizer that I can set up, and it's a pretty nice equalizer. You can see it's 6 bands. I also have these effects. I have expander, gate, compressor, and limiter on every channel, including a master EQ and a master channel effects processor right here. I can turn those compressor to limiter on. I cannot use, I don't think, the expander or the gate, but I can bring compression and limiter on the main master out. Again, I have headphone control. You have a single headphone out of the ATEM Extreme ISO. We should put that on our graph. So headphone out. So 2 compared to 1 again on the RODECaster. Video compared to the ATEM Extreme. They both have audio effects. Though they are a little different, they both have them. So you can see the side-by-side comparison is kind of adding up. A little closer look here of this chart I'm making. They both ISO record, that's on here. So that means you can record all of the inputs. Now, the nice thing about the, let's see, ISO. The difference between these two is the RODECaster will make a folder, but what it doesn't do is it doesn't make a DaVinci Resolve file that you can open up in DaVinci Resolve, and it has your whole program there. And if you want to change and edit, you can do that. You can actually replace files with 4K files if you had recorded inside your camera. So that's really cool. And there's some integration coming now with Blackmagic Design that's really making things fast. But the ATEM Extreme ISO only has a 1G network port, and it doesn't have a USB-C Thunderbolt out like the new G2 does. So if you really want to go faster and have great bells and whistles, the G2 competes better with the RODECaster video because it has the XLR audio inputs. It also has a MADI input, which the RODECaster video can add another RODECaster Pro 2 to it. But you can add 32 channels of audio through MADI and other devices into a new G2 by Blackmagic Design. And that's their announced last fall at NAB. That's the new ATEM Mini Extreme ISO G2 Generation 2. It has a transition bar on it. It has the XLRs, the MADI input. It has a Thunderbolt out, so you can actually do graphics from OBS with a key and fill, and you can actually go both directions. You can send video out of it, and you can also send key and fill into it to be able to do animated graphics right from software that runs on your computer. So, and I did a video a few weeks ago on the G2, and there's some really cool features. But right now, it's really kind of looking that there's a slight lead to me to the RODECaster video over the ATEM Extreme ISO. And I could be wrong. I have been wrong before. Let's see, what are we doing here? Let's get to a scene. So the RODECaster video, in my opinion, is a little easier to use and learn how to operate as well from the ATEM Extreme. But again, that's really up to the individual. I mean, some people may learn an ATEM and the control software way faster than they would learn the RODECaster video. I know for me, I think it was harder for me to learn the RODECaster video than some people, because I've spent so many hours training, doing videos on how to use the ATEM Extreme, the ATEM Mini Pro, those videos here on my channel. And I do consulting to help people with that device. So wrapping my head around the RODECaster video has been a process, but I keep discovering with the current firmware, and again, this is November 25th of 2025. The year's almost over. So it's been out closing in on a year, the RODECaster video. So there's been a lot of firmware updates. There's been improvements, the NDI addition, the addition to LumaKeyan. There's so many things that have been added to it. When you added NDI 4 inputs, you added NDI outputs. So again, having NDI added to it, you have PTZ control available for PTZ cameras. Again, you don't have that ability in the ATEM Mini Extreme. So the 8 inputs, losing one for video playback, really puts these things really close. 6 inputs compared to 7. The keys are better in an ATEM. I think the future integration for like DaVinci Resolve and large events and having people home editing while you're on the road, that's going to be all over ATEM, Blackmagic Design. In fact, if you go to, I'm going to bring up Blackmagic site here. Because there are some Blackmagic deals going on right now. So we'll go to their main page here. You can see I have 30% off the Pixis 6K, 25% off the 6K cameras. That would be many of us are more familiar with. And then 20% off the Pixis monitor. So if we click on the cameras you'd be most familiar with, then you can get discounts on the Cinema Camera 6K. But if you go to the very bottom, let's see, we scroll to the bottom. Might be under media. This article right here is huge for all of us that love Blackmagic Design. AP switches to DaVinci Resolve Studio for global news broadcasting. So I'll put a link to this article in the description tonight so you guys can read it. So let me switch cameras here real quick. We'll come back after I get this in here. So it's in there now in the description. But let me just read a portion of this. Blackmagic Design today announced that the Associated Press, AP, the world's leading news agency, has transitioned its global video editing platforms to DaVinci Resolve Studio. The large-scale enterprise deployment includes several hundred licenses supporting AP's mission-critical 24/7 global news operation and helping enable the creation of more than 1,500 video projects daily. This applies to 100 countries. And here's a photograph. What they're doing is they're using some of Blackmagic Design's new integration and DaVinci Resolve so that they can have their people out shooting and that going back in proxies to the cloud to the editing. So there could be real-time editing happening. And that's the way it would be like in a truck, like a video truck. They have everything they need there. So the cameras are coming into the video truck so they can send replay out, graphics and all that. So that's live production. But to be able to have people back in the studio doing all this editing is super cool too. So that is important to us because as Blackmagic Design has made some of these new devices, the 2010 devices, and a lot of new ways of having 10G, and even 100 gigabyte Ethernet ports. It's crazy what they're able to do now, or 1,000, I forget what it is, but they're able to do now to do these fast productions. And so I don't know if they were using Adobe software, but we're talking about 1,500 projects daily they're working on, and 100 countries, and many licenses were rolled over to DaVinci Resolve. And I guess here they are working in DaVinci Resolve. So this is a great article. So what does that mean? That just means that some of the new innovation that Blackmagic Design has done is actually spilling over to new companies, new broadcasting, news agencies, and that means that that's more reasons for Blackmagic Design to continue integrating through 2010. Hopefully we'll see more network video happening, maybe not as proprietary as it has been. Maybe Blackmagic Design will start broadening their horizons when it comes to NDI and other ways of broadcasting through the network, but that's pretty exciting to me that that's happening. Okay, check out scene A. It has apply borders enabled for your life's journey logo. Okay, so let's switch to this. Scene A, apply borders. Yep. Sure enough, there's the answer. So the reason that line was around there, thanks to Grish, is I have apply borders on. So again, it's applying a border to everything on the screen. So if you have a logo that you've designed with transparency, a transparent border, you better make a 4K version of it so those borders are off the screen as you size and shape it. The cool thing about the RODECaster video is I could bring any graphic in and drag it wherever I want on the screen. So let's see, let's change cameras here real quick. Let me see if I can show you this. We'll take this chat off the air. And let's see if I can find a graphic here to bring in. Yeah, I'd have to have something sized and ready to bring it in. All the graphics I have in my folder for my logos that I had designed for Life Journey Productions, they're large files, and I don't have anything set up right now at 1080p. But what I mean is that this logo that's on the screen right now, that I can move around. Let me go to scene A. This logo right here that I can move around the screen. So, I mean, I can move this. It's got a border around it, but I could actually bring this in without a border, and I would be able to just shrink it down and use it. So that's really cool about the RODECaster video, is that it can take any size graphic once it's 1080p or smaller in that frame, because they got to be 1080, 1920 by 1080, or they won't be able to be loaded in. And once you get those graphics 1920 by 1080, they don't have to have a border. You can place it down here just by shrinking it and putting it down there. But again, if you enable borders, the borders are probably going to show up around these graphics, and that may be something that Rode will have to fix now that I think about it. So, Chris says, that's funny. I'm actually in DaVinci Resolve right now doing an update. Cool. I would love for you to get a couple of 2110 devices from Blackmagic and test them. Okay, Joe. Can you delay audio in the RCV RODECaster video like you can? Yeah, there is audio delay. Let me see if I can find it while you guys are not looking at this, so I can bring it on the air and show you where that's at. Okay, let me just bring this on the air, and I'll point at it here with the camera. We're going to cut to what input here? 4. So inside the settings here, is audio delay. And so you can see I have 6 frames of delay set right there. And so I can't find it in the software right now, but it's right here in the settings menu. You just scroll over to audio delay in the settings menu, then you just tap on it, and then you can set the frames up there, and it goes up to 15 and down to 0. Back to the home screen. So audio delay is available inside the software. Okay, let's go ahead and do this for a second here. Let's use... I'm just going to go to 4 for right now. So again, the button layout really quickly on this is that you have this top row of buttons. And again, you see you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, A through G. And you can access A through G as scenes. So you can have all of these as scenes or all of these as graphics by pushing the graphic button, or all of these as videos. So all of these, so you can have that many videos ready to play in your live stream. I'm only got my intro video, my outro video, and then I have my subscribe graphic, and my other is my background, animated background to demo that. So I still have a ability to drag a video into C, D, E, and have those ready to go. So those off. And then again, this is a key on and off feature. I don't ever use it on the front of here. If I want to bring my chat on the air, I just simply hit button D. But that gives you an idea that these buttons do 3 different things. So they can be scenes, graphics, or videos. And then you have 4 HDMI inputs. And then 5 and 6 can be NDI, could be USB-C web cameras. Those are 2 additional cameras. So webcams, and channel 6 right now is my webcam. This is the YOLO Cam S3 that I just cut to. So it's actually a webcam, and you can color this however you want. I've warmed it up, made it kind of more of a magenta just for the fun of it. So again, that's access to the front of the RODECaster, the RODECaster video. Then you have the LCD screen. You do not have an LCD screen to be able to check all the settings on a RODECaster video. You have the inspect button, which lets you see more information about what's going on with every button. And then you have the ability to do transitions. That's 0.5 in transitions. I have audio ability. I only have 1 at a time, so I have to scroll through all my audio inputs by using this little icon. And you can see 1 is live. And then you have the ability to do auto transition or just a cut. Then I can click into settings here and see all of the information about that particular microphone. Again, I can go back to home. I can go into transitions. I can do a fade or a dip. So here's a dip transition happening right now. I could do a wipe transition. Can change the type of wipe. Can come from the sides. So all that can be changed right inside the software. Go back to a fade like that. So I have that ability to change inside this software. This is the scene button. That controls the scene sections. So you could change some basic layouts in here, but most of the scenes are done inside the software. So we'll go back to home. So again, all the settings. So that's the inputs, or HDMI outputs. I can go to the storage, go to devices, audio delay, multi-track, and the video outputs again. Then if I want to change what's going to A, I just tap on it and I can change it from program to preview to multi-view and all the way down the list right here. And right now I have it on program. So we'll hit out. And so that's kind of a look at that. I can also go over here and do a quick comparison. To the Extreme. You have lots of buttons on the Extreme. So all 8 of the buttons. I have transitions over here. I have a matrix built in on the front of it, so I can change the inputs. I have to tap the LCD screen to do that. On this one, I can only control HDMI input number 1. I can't change the other inputs like I can on the RODECaster video LCD screen. So if I was at a live event and didn't want to use my laptop, I couldn't do that with a ATEM Extreme. I would have to have a laptop, but I could run my whole show pretty easily from this device, because I can go into those video channels and change real quickly what's going out to HDMI output number 2, or let's say I wanted to go to USB-C out to my source, or if I wanted to go NDI out, I can tap on this and change what's going to that, where I can't do that on the ATEM Mini ATEM Mini Extreme ISO. So back to it real quick. So I do have audio buttons on the front of this, and they're going to be faster because I can just do up and down on the audio across here. Let's see, audio right here, up and down. This is for controlling Blackmagic Design cameras, so I never use those buttons. Picture in picture, though it's set for really small, I do have the ability to change that. I could go to a 2-box right here from the front of the device. The settings right here for changing the transition speed. I have macros, so I could have 6 program macro buttons ready to go right here. And then I can stop and start recording and all that from right up here on the air and off the air from right here. The audio jacks for input number 1 and 2 are right here, where that's all under the LCD screen in the RODECaster video. And then I do have a matrix where I can change what's going to my keys. That's on the front of the ATEM Extreme ISO. So that's really cool. You do not have that on the RODECaster video. So there's some cool things, even with the buttons on the front of the RODECaster video with the LCD screen. There's some extra buttons available, obviously, on the Extreme. So that's kind of a give and take for both of them. But I would say the RODECaster video is more capable of being operated on a desk in the middle of a podcast without a laptop. If you had all your scenes created, you could pretty much do everything that you would need to do right from the front of the device. I do find, though, switching between the banks for those top buttons, A through G, convoluted. Like sometimes I know what I'm in. Am I in scenes? Am I in still images? Or am I in video layer? Sometimes it's really confusing to me, and my brain still hasn't caught up with that yet for whatever reason. But again, that's my brain. That may not apply to your brain. Joe, are you going to sponsor Keith's 2110? That is a great question that is being asked here live tonight. Yes, but we only sponsor people in bikinis. Well, then I'm not going to be sponsored by Joe, because I'm not putting a bikini on holding rats. Yeah. Wow. Joe, you're in rare form tonight. Remind me why you look so amber in color temperature on the RCV. Well, because, you mean like right now in this shot or in this shot? This shot or this shot? This shot right now is the YOLO Cam S3, and this is my EOS R. So we'll switch back to my EOS R and bring my graphic on the air. So this is my normal EOS R shot, and this is with my normal graphic on, and this is what you would be used to seeing me in my normal live streams before I got my RODECaster video. So I may have had the main camera. Let me look at that scene real quick. No, scene A is still, scene A is still me in my EOS R. It's just shrunk down. I can edit this and bring me back up so I more fill the frame. So now I'm a little bit bigger in the frame, but I like this look with the border and me in the front of it and the logo on. So, and I think it makes a great scene. So for what it is. Okay, so I know it's been 2 hours, but I want to take just a couple minutes here and mention one other thing for Black Friday. So Elgato's having a Black Friday sale. And so you can see that each day this week they're having, it's already up and running. So if you want to save some money on devices, now's the time to act. So if you go to Elgato's page, we'll go back. In the top corner, it says Black Friday. I highly recommend that if you are looking for a Stream Deck or an Elgato prompter, that you get over there ASAP and check out some of their sales. My grandson and I, we had ordered a figure, you know, that we have another channel we're getting ready to launch and do some videos on. We've been working on it for a couple of years, collecting these 1/6 scale figures. I usually have a few of them on the back wall right here, but they're all gone. But these are high-end collectible 1/6 scale figures. I have Obi-Wan. I have the Batman 2020, Robert Pattinson. I have Johnny Depp and playing Jack Sparrow. We also have a Miles over at my grandson's house. I say that to say this. We ordered a character that, because of tariffs, they just never shipped it. They weren't communicating, so I asked for a refund. I ordered it in August on the 31st of 2024. So it's been well over a year, almost a year and a half. So we just got the money refunded, and we were able to get 2 figures for the price of 1. Last night we ordered them, so they'll be coming in. We'll unbox those. We're going to put them on our channel. I may show them on tonight's or on a live stream, maybe not. But my point is, I was able to get 2 figures for the price of 1. Now, you had to take figures they had in stock for the free figure, and it depended on how much you spent, what figures you got to choose from. But it was really cool. They had a Spider-Man in a stealth suit with a really cool display that both Dominic and I really liked. We talked about at one point why we liked that figure, and if we could ever find a steal on one, we'd get one. And so we were able to get an early Tony Stark doing his very first suit. So it's very much him in character, but he's got the glove on, and he's in the process of creating his very first suit, Iron Man suit. And so that's what Dominic wanted to replace his figure that we had to cancel. And so now we have 2 figures coming. So Black Friday is legit, even though I don't do a lot of Black Friday shopping. But for those of you that want to go to B&H's site or Adorama, or just check it out, if you're like me, I've had hundreds and hundreds of emails. So let's check our poll tonight. Do you think there is a clear winner between the ATEM Mini Extreme ISO and the RØDECaster video? We have 13 votes. 77% of you said yes, there's a clear winner. And 23% of you said no, there's not a clear winner. So I'm going to end this poll. And why don't you go ahead and put your vote right now? If you think there's a winner, the Blackmagic, so just put in Extreme ISO or RØDECaster video is fine. And you let me know what percentage went to what, because I don't know in the answer. I just know how many of you said yes, there's a clear winner, and how many of you said no. So if you declared 13 out of the 13 of you that answered that poll, if you declared a clear winner, please put what that winner is in the chat tonight so I can get your opinion. I would be voting tonight, comparing those 2 devices in our current world with all the firmware updates right now for what I do in my studio and for people that I train in smaller studios and smaller venues. I would be clear winner towards the RØDECaster video right now, even though I wish it had more inputs. But other than that, I really like it. I hope they work out the bugs on the keys and animated video graphics. But other than that, I'm very happy with it. So I would give my vote tonight for a clear winner to the RØDECaster video, even though I will continue using my Extremes in my studio. We're going to go back to streaming from the Extreme here pretty soon. But that would be my vote. Good to have you. Sorry you jumped in late, but I'm glad you're here. We're doing great. You might want to put your name in the chat. Yeah, the EOS R is kind of an amber looking tonight. I played with the white balance. I need to auto white balance my EOS R for this room, but this is what we got tonight. ESR looks different than on the ATEM. Could be. The color space calibration between the two could be quite a bit different. Grish asked if I have an Amazon link to an Elgato Stream Deck Plus. I don't. I'll look. You can't use my Amazon associate links for the specials on Elgato's site. So I would just recommend you just go ahead and get one on their Black Friday special, because that's going to be a better deal than you'll find on Amazon. So, but I appreciate the thought. Normally I do, but tonight I'm not going to because it's Black Friday. Okay, so there's a vote for the ATEM. Exclamation, exclamation, exclamation. Toto, good to have you. Just so everybody knows your name. Again, I would love, before we wrap up tonight, to hear what your thoughts are. If there's a clear winner, which device? As of right now, one person has said the ATEM Extreme ISO. That's a tie now, because I said the clear winner would be the RODECaster Video for my uses, and I'll probably be recommending it more than the ATEM Mini Pro or the Extreme for a lot of the smaller studios or small live streamers that I work with. Also, again, I want to remind you guys that if you have filled out this before, this contact form on my website, and I'll put a link in the description below. If you have filled out this form before and given me an email or requested a free consult, or I've done any work with you consulting, I'm doing a Black Friday special on hours for consulting, and those hours are going to be good for only December and January. So you can purchase X amount of hours. They're going to be discounted. Those have to be purchased before a certain deadline date. And the only way you can purchase consulting hours would be to email me and say, Keith, hey, I want to take advantage of that Black Friday sale. So if you want to get that email this week, fill out this form, put in your name, first and last name, and your email, and then just put down in there Black Friday consulting deal. So if you'd like to know what that is, only that email is, that deal is only going out to subscribers to my website, and even some of those people will not get that Black Friday sale. It's going to go out to previous clients, people that were on the fence, people that I've done free Zoom consults with. But you'll be able to buy 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours. There's no limit. There's going to be a maximum of 12 hours because of what time I have available between now and the end of January, because I'm semi-retired. I work in here on Tuesdays for my live streams, and then I only work with clients a couple days a week. So it'll be limited by how many hours I have available. So there will be a limit, but there's a limit of 12 hours, and that special is going to be released on Friday via email. So if you want to get that email and you have never filled out that form before, even if you have filled out the form because you wanted to be a part of my Zoom town hall, I'm probably not going to send out the Black Friday deal to those people. Only people that have done Zoom consults with me, the free 1 hour Zoom. And in fact, if you want a 1 hour free Zoom consult with me face-to-face on Zoom to help you with your studio, and you think we can solve your issues or answer your questions in an hour, I offer a one-time only free 1 hour Zoom. You just have to fill out the form and request a free consult, and I will reach out to you via your email, and we'll schedule that free 1 hour right here in the studio. You'll see exactly the same thing you're seeing now. The only difference is you will be face-to-face with me in a Zoom meeting. So again, if you want to receive that discount offer on Friday, Good Friday, coming up just in a few days, I will be sending that deal out to previous clients, current clients, for December and January only, with a 12-hour maximum purchase. I'm also going to give some bonus hours to some of my clients I'm working with right now, so they don't whine at me because of the discount. They will be getting some bonus time to make up for that Black Friday if they already have hours on the book. So I'm serious about this, serious about helping people with podcasting, live streaming, setting up a studio, all the basic things here. And I even do live installs for clients in the local area that I live in, which is Washington State. So anyway, enough of that commercial. Thank you guys so much for joining me tonight. I appreciate being able to be in here live with everyone. What happened to my location for chat? Much better. The Amazon one is the same price as their site. Okay, well, I will look into that, Grish, and I will put that link to Elgato in the description before I go to bed tonight. And I appreciate you very much in your willingness to support the channel. Okay, I'd still like to hear your votes. I only heard from Toto on the ATEM being his choice, and I know that 77% of 13 people said there's a clear winner between the RODECaster video and the ATEM Mini Extreme ISO. So please put which device won your vote in the chat. I would really appreciate. So will the people that are going to be watching this after it went live. So please take a minute to do that in the chat, and then we are going to roll out. So I hope you guys have an amazing Thanksgiving. Those of you that celebrate the Thanksgiving holiday, the rest of you, eat some turkey, some chicken, have some steak on Thursday with the rest of us, and we'll see you guys in the next stream here on the channel. Also, check out my new video on the YOLO Live software for the YOLOCam S3. I spent quite a bit of time showing the software, and I gave a sneak peek to the beta version, which I was able to get from YOLO Live. So there's some improvements on the software. That's at the end of the video, and there's chapter markers in that YOLO cam software video. It's right here on my channel. Should be easy to find. So take a look at that. Please support the channel as much as you can. So again, thank you guys so much for joining me tonight's live stream. We're going to reach over here, get the software fired up because I've been showing it to you guys. And we're going to queue up the video and get ready to say goodnight. So I am Keith. This is Life Journey Production Studios. Thank you so much for joining me in tonight's live stream. I hope you have an amazing week, and I hope to see you in a video very soon. Until next time.